It's now 6:30. I'd like to call this November 21st City of Monessen Council meeting to order. Could I have a roll call, please?
Councilman Chakowski.
Here.
Councilperson Thomas.
Here.
Councilman Nestor.
Present.
Councilman Gregor. Mayor Mosher.
Present.
Mayor, we recognize a quorum with 4 members here and Councilman Gregor absent.
At this time, I'd like to ask Lois to lead us in prayer.
We bow our heads, please. Heavenly Father, we thank you now for this day, how you watched over us and kept us throughout this day. We ask that you continue to be with us throughout this council meeting, that you bind us all together on one accord, that you just help us to move forward the city of Monessen for the good of the city and also for the good of its residents. Just bless us now and bless us now as we go throughout this Thanksgiving season. May we be grateful for all things that you've done for us. In Jesus' name we pray and thank you. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I'd like to ask council to review the minutes from the previous November 10th session and make a motion when ready to accept it.
Mayor, motion to approve minutes of the previous session of November 10th, 2022.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Please call the roll.
Councilperson Thomas.
Yes.
Councilman Nestor.
Aye.
Councilman Chakowski.
Yes.
Mayor Mosher.
Yes. At this time, I'd like to open the floor for public comments on agenda items only.
Ernie Telegraphus, and I have to commemorate you people for going to work on those 2 buildings, and they're coming down. So hopefully we could continue the progress. Now, I have 2 concerns here. One is with the mayor, and one is with Tony, Councilman Okowski. The first one is this. I thought Donner Avenue was already paid for, the 500 Donner Avenue. And then I see here that you're trying to get ARP money aside for Donner Avenue. I don't know.
AARP?
You just do another A.
Yeah, ARP, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And if it was already paid for, then what's this putting funding on the side for the demolition of 500 Donner? I don't understand if that's already been taken care of.
500 Donner, the demolition was taken care of, but the
What?
fees for the engineering was not taken care of. The CFA refused to pay the engineering, the soft costs for that demolition.
And how much was those fees?
I think it was somewhere in the neighborhood of $30,000.
30,000.
Yes. So what we did is we went to Senator Kim Ward, and through her graciousness, she got some state ARP money.
So it's not the total
It'll
30,000.
be $24,000, I believe.
But the remaining, Ernie, is being paid for by the CFA. That's the residue of the project at 500.
Yeah. Did
So-
anybody question how they came up with 30,000?
And it was well documented. It included all the permitting. As you recall, that building had anything that could go wrong. It had everything from the SHPO clearance, the water in the basement.
I thought it was around 10,000. I don't know how it jumped up to 30.
Well, it worked out to considerably more.
Then I have this other little question. You're going to honor May 20th Armed Service Day. What happens on Memorial Day? Which happens 10 days later. You're not going to honor that at all?
Well, the armed forces.
I mean, you're focusing on The 20th, but you're forgetting the,
First off, that was the date that was requested by the Armed Forces group.
okay, but what is the city gonna do for Memorial Day?
We'll probably celebrate it on the 20th,
So you're gonna combine the two?
unless somebody wants to do something different on a different day, yes.
Okay, I just want everybody to be on the same page. Otherwise, we won't know what one hand's doing than the other. Then, next is Councilman Tony here. Your page 5, motion for ordinance 1262 for specific funds required for specific purposes of the municipal government.
It's the
What are
budget.
those?
The budget.
Oh, okay. The way it's written, I thought it was something special.
It is, the budget.
Well, it doesn't actually say budget, it just says specific funds.
That's legalese from,
Well,
Don't worry, Ernie. I had the same problem when I was sitting on the other side of this too.
okay, then I got another one, that was E, this is F.
budget.
1263.
Tax levy,
The tax
Okay,
levy,
who's gonna determine the tax levy?
the budget.
the budget determines
Okay,
it.
but which body? This is the body?
That ordinance determines the tax levy.
So you guys are gonna determine the budget, and then you're gonna determine the taxes.
Yep.
Right,
Is that how that goes?
right.
Yes.
Is the citizens of Monessen
You get to review it.
invited to
You'll be able to review it.
just review? We cannot have a say-so in the budget?
Comment on it.
You can make all kinds of comments,
That's
yes.
why you can review it.
That's
why we
after the
posted.
fact, right?
No, it hasn't been officially.
Yeah, that's-
like-
This is just the first reading.
Your first reading.
First reading, in what month would that take place in 2023, do you know?
Depends on explaining this. in a minute.
Yeah, go ahead and let you.
I was gonna explain the purpose of the two ordinances tonight.
Okay,
1262 is the budget ordinance. There's also, I believe, a motion to advertise that because council has to make the proposed budget before the end of November. okay.
this month,
Yeah, that's what the purpose
Yeah.
of tonight's
wow.
meeting is. 1263 is the tax levying ordinance.
When's that gonna be determined? This month too?
It'll be a first reading tonight, correct?
Tonight?
It'll be both are anticipated to be adopted at the second December meeting.
And who's gonna lead this? You or Tony Kowski?
What's the council thing?
Oh, council.
Right.
Okay, because his name is there, that's why it says.
So
Tony
he's the
Kowski.
director of accounts and finance.
Yeah, well, that's why,
It's his responsibility to present it before the end of the month. It'll be here for public view
when? At the end of the month or?
tomorrow.
December?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
Yeah.
that early?
Both will be advertised in the paper tomorrow.
It will,
It will.
okay. All right.
Is there any other comments on agenda items? Does anybody have any correspondence that they'd like to introduce? I have none. At this time, I'd like to ask the solicitor to give us his report, which he already did most.
Yeah, I worked on the budget ordinance, the tax levying ordinance, and the zoning ordinance was appropriately advertised and is up for adoption this evening.
Okay. Looks like our city treasurer and our city controller are both absent, so we'll skip those two reports. John, would you read a couple of motions for me, please?
Sure, Mayor. Motion to approve the use of the Monessen City Park by Monessen VFW Post 1190, the American Legion Post 28, to include at the minimum the walking track area, the amphitheater, and the ball field on May 20th, 2023 to celebrate Armed Service Day. The City of Monessen for the purpose of display from all branches of the military service. This would include helicopters, drones, assorted military gear. The intent of the event is to install honor and to celebrate Monessen's patriotism, pride, and the love of the country.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any questions? Call the roll.
Councilperson Thomas,
Yes.
Councilman Orchakowski.
Yes.
Councilman Nestor,
Aye.
Mayor motion.
Yes.
Motion to announce the Thrill of Hope Monessen Christmas celebration of December 3rd, 2022, beginning at 10 a.m. with the breakfast with Santa at the Monessen Civic Center at 12:30 p.m. Christmas parade from Donner to 6th Street. Fun Christmas activities for the kids at the His Place restaurant at the Monessen Library from 10 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. The Christmas community prayer service at 3:30 p.m. and a Christmas carol on Cocoa will be held at the Monessen Civic Center, all at no cost.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions?
When you say the parade says from Donner to Sixth Street, what actually, where does it start on Donner? Is it done by,
I believe it starts down,
by Rite Aid or something?
I believe so, yes.
Or-
Also, just for clarification too, they're going to light up the Christmas tree across from the His Place. They've got a tree that they're going to light up, and they asked that that be the light up night for Christmas as well.
Which tree, where?
I'm not exactly sure, to be honest.
Because I know there's one by the library.
It might be the one at the library.
Okay, yeah, that's what the one that used to, they all,
Can you tell me, Mayor, how much money is this gonna cost the city?
Zero.
All of this is taking place zero?
Zero. It doesn't cost a lot to sing carols and have a good time. And His Place is putting up all the games, and they're going to have.
Army's doing cocoa and cookies, so.
And they've really done a lot of work preparing for this. They've been working for several months. It should really come off to be quite a thing.
The Civic Center open what day?
Yeah, that's what I
Oh, 4 o'clock, that's when the
that's
code.
when the carol and the cookies.
Okay.
Councilperson Thomas, that is from Family Dollar to Sixth Street.
Okay, all right,
So that's what,
thank you.
Okay, call the roll.
Councilman Nestor,
Aye.
Councilperson Thomas,
Yes,
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Mayor motion.
Yes.
Mayor, motion for a second reading and final approval for the revised zoning ordinance for the city of Monessen.
Is there a second?
second,
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Councilperson Thomas,
yes.
Councilman Nestor,
Aye.
Mayor motion.
Yes. At this time, I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the things that we've got going on here. For one is, on January the 20th, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., we're going to hold the first Monessen Economic Summit. And at this point, there's quite a number of senators, congressmen, and notary people
Notable.
notable people, let me get this right, that will be present. The keynote speaker will be Dr. Andrew Johnson, and he's a very dynamic speaker. He ought to be quite interesting to listen to and see what we have going on. But I would like to invite everybody to mark that day down on their calendar, and like for everybody to mark that day down on their calendar and to be present when it comes around. Also, I want to talk a little bit about the Recreation Board and the Civic Center. And this is something that's really come out from the board itself, and it's just something that we can talk about. I'm not making a motion here or making anything else, but the bottom line is the Rec Board is made up of primarily volunteers, and the volunteers all have jobs and so forth. But they're also very dynamic people that have lots of ideas and things that they'd like to do. What they'd really like to be is a group that comes up with programs, events, and things that occur at all the different parks, not just the Civic Center, but all the parks. As an example, movie nights at one of the parks throughout the summer, perhaps concerts that are held up at the amphitheater. These are the types of things that the Rec Board would really like to be involved with, as opposed to the day-to-day operation of the Civic Center. The day-to-day operation of the Civic Center is really being managed by Julian Napier, who works for the city. He reports to Mike. But he will be responsible for the day-to-day rental, to keeping it open, keeping it clean, assuring that it's utilized properly, and so forth. These are things that we've talked about before. It will require some tweaking of in the form of a resolution and so forth, but it's something I wanted to just discuss with city council and get their opinion on how this plays out. Does anybody have any comments?
Now, have we talked to, is the rec board aware of this, the current members?
They're the ones that suggested it.
Should we have them approach council on it?
We could if you feel it's necessary.
I mean, they seem to be wanting to do something different than what's been in the past. And if that's the case, I'd rather them explain it completely in their justification, not, I want to say justification, but their reasoning behind it versus us making an assumption and not knowing exactly what they feel. There might be just a lack of communication. It could be something that their goal and their charter and their moving the city forward is a little bit different than what the city council feels.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to find out as well. Just unfortunately though, today they were supposed to have a meeting and there wasn't enough for a quorum. So unfortunately the meeting didn't take place. But hopefully maybe next month.
I mean, I understand they work, we all work. So, I mean, that's something, do they meet in the evenings? Or is it?
Yes. They were scheduled to meet a half hour before this meeting, but they didn't have a quorum available.
Okay.
The next meeting, Councilman, is the 19th.
So,
Yes.
is,
And there's nothing that has to be done quickly or haphazardly or anything else. There's no reason why we can't get them to put something together for us.
well, my question is, of everything that's listed on promotion, increased income generation, and coordination of all recreation and park activities over the course of the next year and beyond, I don't know whose statement that was, and I guess it doesn't really matter, but it doesn't exactly touch on the Civic Center.
Right.
And that is probably the biggest, I don't want to say disagreement, but probably the biggest snafu, being what they think they want to do versus what we think they were doing. So, you know, I would prefer them coming and approaching council,
Okay,
and that way there's no hearsay involved.
that's fine.
It just seems to me, it just seems like they're trying to expand what they do as far as program. You know how the other cities will have, not just light at night, but they'll have big events like during the summer. So it seems to me like they may wanna have like a big summer event where you may have bands come in and food trucks all at once. So it just seems to me they're trying to promote our city by having more activities throughout the city.
Right. One thing that I've been really an advocate of is developing of a schedule that was made public to everybody on social media and on our webpage, where you could look at it and you could see where the amphitheater was rented on this day, the Civic Center's rented on that day, this event's happening over here on that day. Something that was easily accessible that everybody would have access to. I think that promotes all the activities and keeps the city involved with everything that's going on.
And those are all great things that we all want to push the city for, but again, my still question is, they're going to handle the Civic Center anymore.
I don't know.
It's not that they don't, they're not saying they don't want to handle it. They don't want to be responsible for the day-to-day operation of it. They want, that's Julian.
Okay.
They will still be involved with the events and organizing the teams and various things at the Civic Center, just as they'd be responsible for anything that happens at any other park.
Okay. All right.
And we'll ask them and see if they can send somebody down for the next meeting to make that a little bit more clear to everybody too. Okay.
Motion to use CFA funds, grant funds left over from a 500 Donner demolition to demolish a 544 Donner structure. The CFA has approved the use of the funds for this purpose.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes.
Motion to apply for state ARP funding set aside by Senator Ken Ward to pay WEC Engineering for work done to demolish 500 Donna.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes.
Motion to ask GPI to develop the specifications and RFP for contracting a company to demo 544 Donner. GPI has agreed to do this at no cost.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about what the county is really doing here. First off, everybody's well aware from the mess that's going on out front. You got the Fifth Street Hotel, which has been brought to the ground. It still needs to be cleaned up and hauled off and planted and all those different things. And the same is true with the newspaper office. Unfortunately, they got that down before we got 544 Donner down. That was a personal bet that I had with the county that I could get that building done before they got their building down. I didn't get my funding until Tuesday of last week, and therefore they won. I lost. So I owe them a dinner. He's yet to accept the dinner. We'll have to work on that a little bit, but that's neither here nor there. But they do have more going on. As part of this plan that they're doing, they went for easy, low-hanging fruit that they could demolish very quickly, and that includes 348 Indiana, 332 Franklin, 452 Motherwell, 506 3rd Street, 937 Grant, and 452 McKee. The only thing about that is that was the property that they had their hands around that they could actually do without getting permission from anybody. They actually had that property belonged to the county, the land bank. So they were able to move forward with that very quickly. But that also brings forth an issue that we really have right now, and that is we need to get off dead center and start clearing all of our property to get it demolished as well. The city has quite a number of properties that belong to the city that were obtained from the repository many years ago that need to be demolished. There are properties that are very blighted. The Redevelopment Authority has the same thing. They have a number of properties too. So over the next few days, we will be giving to the county list of properties with the appropriate clearances so that they can start demoing that property as well. So the next phase of the demolitions will include a lot more properties than the 6 that you have right there. All the while, the county is in the process of going through the judicial process. The county, the Redevelopment Authority submitted some 200 properties in Monessen to go through the judicial process to get them cleared such that they would have the ability to demo them. It's not likely that the judicial process will take all 200 properties. Just being what it is, there'll be some number that they will take. It's kind of interesting trying to figure out what they will take and what they won't take, but I think that we have some things that we can do to help that along. As an example, the Redevelopment Authority has a little bit of money. So what they agreed to do is to fund the demolition orders. In other words, the condemning of a piece of property and getting demolition orders so it can be demolished. That is the first part of getting access to the property to have the state come in and the county come in and do the demolition. So they've set aside $20,000 for that purpose that will help the city out immensely in the course of clearing a bunch of property. There's that really brings us into motion J and K, and I'm going to go ahead and make those motions because it's something I kind of want to explain a little bit too along the way. Motion to identify and submit the demolition orders and right to demo to the county of all city-owned property that is both blighted and vacant. This includes city-owned structures as the Donner side of the parking garage, the blighted city-owned houses in the residential areas. And that's the property that I was just describing. that these are properties that the city owns. We need to get that condemned, demolition orders done, and then all the proper paperwork submitted to the county so they can be demoed. Could I have a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes. The next one's a little bit more complicated. I'd like to make a motion to accept ownership of commercial property which has been issued demolition orders for property owners unable to finance demolition on their own. These properties must meet the qualifications and requirements of the county and of Westmoreland for demolition. In other words, if there's a piece of property, whether it be commercial or residential, that has been condemned, it has orders to and I really want to limit this to commercial property, to be honest. That's the property that's in downtown Monessen that is blighted, is owned by somebody. It's been condemned and they have a demolition order. They are forced to demolish that piece of property by the order of the demolition order. If they're unable to demolish it, they can give it to the city and the city will get it demolished through the work of the county. Could I have a second?
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes. That really kind of wraps up the current activities that we've got going on here. I think we pretty much talked about them all. The ones that I just want to say over and over and over again is January the 20th, the Monessen Economic Summit. That is one that gives a chance for everybody to see what's going on and to visit with those people that are making it happen. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Tony.
Thank you, Mayor. Make a motion to pay the following invoices from the general fund in the amount of $37,259.60. All invoices are attached to this agenda as attachment A.
Is there a second?
Second.
Call the roll.
Councilperson Thomas?
Is there any no discussion items? I should ask. Call the roll.
Yes.
Councilperson Thomas? Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes.
Make a motion to pay the following invoices from the recreational account in the amount of $803.54. All invoices are attached to this agenda as attachment B.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes.
Motion to pay the following invoices from the grant fund in the amount of $928.54. All invoices are attached to this agenda as attachment C.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes.
Motion to pay the following invoices from the Parks Fund in the amount of $333.30. All invoices are attached to this agenda as attachment D.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes.
Motion to transfer $3,000 from the general fund to the healthcare account.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes.
Make a motion for the first reading and authorization to advertise ordinance 1262, an ordinance of the city of Monessen, Westmoreland County, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, appropriating specific sums estimated to be required for the specific purpose of the municipal government hereinafter set forth during the year 2023.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes.
Motion for the first reading and authorization to advertise ordinance 1263, an ordinance of the city of Monessen, Westmoreland County, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, fixing the tax rate for the year 2023.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Any questions? I'd like to point out that the tax rate is not changing for next year. It'll remain the same.
No tax increase.
No tax increase.
He almost forgot to say that.
Merry Christmas.
Call the roll.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes.
And the following accounts have the balances: fire escrow, $18,410.99. Liquid fuels, $248.84. Debt service, $760,880.22. Line usage, $564,985.35. Payroll, $4,013.58. ARP money, $380,889.76. General account, $308,913.69. Grant fund, $81,575.61. Healthcare has $5,067. Parks is $11,563.21. Recreation has $4,157.46. And the refuge account has $68,889.58. That's my report, Mayor.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Councilwoman Lois Thomas.
Good evening, everyone. Our streets department report for October 2022. Empty garbage downtown twice a week, answered 28 PA1 calls, cold patch several streets throughout the city, cut the remainder of city lots for the summer, painted arrows and put a do not enter sign on Montraver, cleaned out several catch basins, fixed 3 catch basins, and the Vector truck is out for repair due to electrical issue. The sweeper truck was out when possible. They are getting the salt spreaders and trucks ready for the winter. Help the parks when needed, and Mark Kravitz says turn in his retirement. I think today was his last day, actually. And a report from the library, just a few things. People counter for October was 1,630 people. The library is still selling a $2 ticket for Friday, November 25th, so if you want one, just need to get it by Thanksgiving. The library will be taking part in a Thrill of Hope and Community Christmas in Monessen on December 3rd. Tell your family, your friends, and your kids to come out. It's free. It's a day. It's our first, actually our inaugural Monessen Community Center Christmas celebration, but it's going to be a fun day, especially the breakfast with Santa. Santa will be in the parade. They'll go down to the library and to his place for activities from 1:30 to 3:30, and then they'll have their parade at City Hall, and then right next to that at the Civic Center will be the Christmas cookies and cocoa and the Christmas caroling. So it should be a fun-filled day.
Congratulations to Mark.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
41 years. Yep.
Good
Yes.
stuff.
Long time.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
At this time, I'd like to turn it over to John Nestor.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, members of council, city administrative staff, and the citizens of Monessen. Here's the following reports for the Public Safety Department. Police Department receipt for the month of October 2022. Parking permits, $800. Miscellaneous collection, copies of police accident reports, $270, for a total miscellaneous collection of $270. Court receipts from the District Magistrate's Office is the following. Vehicle code fines collected, $815.64. Crime code fines collected, $176.61. City ordinance collected, $26.69. Code enforcement collected $100, for total receipts from the District's Justice Office of $1,118.54, for total receipts collected for October 2022, $2,188.54. Following citations were, total citations for October were 93, so the year-to-date is 962. There's a following report for the Mon Valley Emergency Medical Service, ending in October. Emergency calls 135, fire standby 6, total incidents 141. The following is the code activity report for October 2022. Habitation permits 12, correction letters 18, animal complaints 9, miscellaneous complaints 22, health inspections 3, building permits 3, zoning permits 3, meetings with residents 6. Next is the following report for the from the Monessen Fire Chief, ending in October. Automatic fire alarms 2, public service 1, natural gas leaks 3, vehicle accident 2, EMS assistance 5, carbon monoxide 2, grill fire 1, live drill Carroll Township 1, structure fire Charleroy 1, structure fire North Bell Vernon 1, total calls 19, Total responding 189, average response per call 10, and total man hours 197. Also met with Mike earlier today, just discussed some street openings that's happening downtown, and hopefully that the code officer will be on top of it to make sure the streets are properly paved once the pipes are being fully installed. I've been getting a lot of calls about that, especially at the intersection of First and Donner, and also how Schoonmaker on the left-hand side is all messed.
Right. Schoonmaker's quickly going too.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, both of those are PennDOT roads.
correct.
There is some $18,000 worth of permitting that was done on non-PennDOT roads that we can control getting the pavement corrected on. But the roads on Donner and Schoonmaker being PennDOT, it's their requirement to make sure that the roads are up to their standards. We have very little say-so in that.
All right. Well, other than that, Mayor, I yield the floor. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you mind if I talk about your Christmas thing?
Do you want me to read the Parks report first? Do you want me to read the Parks report first?
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry. Did I jump ahead of you too much? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Mr. Gregor's report.
Oh, Gregor. Okay.
Yeah. I'm just gonna read the Parks Department report in the absence of, Councilman Gregor. Cut city lots and fields, fixed lights in the police station. We're in the process of cleaning up leaves throughout the city and in the parks. Close the park bathrooms and concession stands for winter and help the streets department as needed.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Thank you. Again, is it?
No.
Okay, so first off, I was presented this. The
No.
That's a
No.
private.
Yeah.
Private.
That's a private invitation.
Just pass. Just.
okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Never mind. I misunderstood. Okay, is there? I want to open the meeting to public comment. Anything you'd like to talk about? For anybody that'd like to come forth and present something to the city council.
Yeah, my name is Pino Cianflone, 45 Montraver, Monessen, 15062. I'd like to see if clear me up on some questions that I have. The stop sign on Fifth Street by the, by the dollar store, what's going on with that? Whoever.
Yeah, we're gonna have a meeting on that, possibly next week or the week after with PennDOT. And you're gonna be a part of the group along with Ms. Lacy and others to talk about both that issue and the entire realm of other issues that we have with both stop signs, line painting, and give them our views on what we would like to see happen vis-a-vis those issues. So that should be happening, and probably by Wednesday, I'll be in touch with you and the others to coordinate the schedules.
The other question that I have is it's going into about the second month since we talked about moving some of the vehicles. They had no stickers, no plates, and boats parked on the middle of the road. Not in the middle of the road, on the road, with grass and trees growing around it. I know that you got 2 months. You say you probably can start working on it.
Yeah, Chief, would you like to talk about that any?
Yes, we tagged an abundance of abandoned vehicles. Irish has towed upwards of over 15 vehicles from the streets. I don't have my folder with me on exactly who was towed or what, but I know somewhere around 15, if not more. I know he's constantly working on it. He recently obtained some land where he could store this. That's what the biggest problem was, him not towing it. So he has somewhere to store it, whatever he removed these vehicles.
And can someone explain to me, I'll take that as a working process, right?
Yes,
And I hope it continues.
right.
Now, I have a question on 9th Street, where the light has not been working for years. There's I think a piece of cement laying right there for the last, that I know, I've been coming to Monessen for only like the last 60 years. But I don't think, that looks like garbage. When are they gonna clean that up? And I know the city workers have enough in their hands, which I think they need help. I know that for a fact. They need some help, okay? But when are they gonna clean some of that trash up?
Are you talking about the barrier?
No, right where the light is, where Bar 20 used to be.
Right.
And then they have a burial there that I don't know what it does.
That barrier.
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't tell you
I think
anything.
that stopped them from going down. You know that,
Yeah, it stops.
it stopped them from going down that hill, that's why
Yeah,
they
we
put it
did.
there.
Well, I thought we discussed this back in the summer, because when the sewer project was
Right, that'll
coming
be
there,
done.
they're gonna bypass
Right.
that area, but after that
It'll all be gone.
project is done, they're gonna reopen the
The whole
road to
street.
go.
The whole street will be done,
Back
it'll
up.
be repaved.
All I know it's been like that for at least the last 15 years,
Yeah.
and it looks like garbage.
Yeah, one thing that is gonna happen is they're gonna be doing the sewer line down 9th Street. And that will totally disrupt and change the traffic flow pattern there. Hopefully, in the course of doing that, they can make some improvements. I don't know that one way or the other, but it would make sense to me.
In the last month meeting, there was 2 questions brought up that I recall. One was the police vehicle, and the second one was a truck for the city workers. Where are we with that?
We haven't really discussed it yet. As far as the police vehicle is concerned, that's something council needs to talk about. I was unaware that we're paying on a new police vehicle yet. That we have 3 more payments of $10,000 over the next 3 years.
Right now.
Yes, sir.
So you're saying that you're not gonna buy a vehicle?
Not
I'm not
necessarily.
saying that yet. I'm just
But-
saying that changed some of the scope.
The dynamic on it.
Yes, because that might actually have to go, instead of purchasing a brand-new vehicle, that may go towards paying the vehicle. that
And I
we're
think
paying.
at that meeting, I said, being that we only have 2 cops per shift, which it covers, I think, 2 or 3 shifts. That means we got 6 cops at max. And then we also, I think we have 5 police cars. Okay, and I don't get it. My math doesn't tell me that's right. You know, I'd rather hire some more police and use the vehicles that we have and update them than get in a vehicle and have the same amount of police. I think we need some police to cover all of our area. And that's, I don't think that's taking place. Last thing that I want to bring up, I know there's a lot of talk in town about what we're doing about tearing buildings down and getting the people that pay no taxes a break. The people that pay taxes every year get no break. When are they gonna get a break? I know that the garbage went up $15. I don't know, you guys are working on a budget for this coming year, correct?
That was already explained tonight in the 2 motions.
Well, you know, the whole damn thing, to me, it seems that you got to address the people that pay the taxes. The people that pay the bill to keep this town going. And I
Yeah,
think they're being ignored.
I don't want to make any light of that whatsoever. The city budget is run by people that pay in the bill and paying their taxes. That number has been declining over the last 30 or 40 years, about 6% per year. The bottom line is that is what keeps this city running. That's what pays the police. That was what pays the roads. They are probably the most important part of this whole organization.
Yeah, but what I see here trust, my parents lived there for 40 years, 60 years, been part of Monessen for 60 years, and I don't get it. I think like we're concentrating on people that pay no taxes,
Well,
to have them come into our city,
Well, Pino,
no versus the people that paying taxes.
let's take the people that you say aren't paying taxes, aren't paying garbage, are getting cited for the mess of their house, whatever it might be. Okay, those group of people, all right? one thing, and the mayor has mentioned this many times, okay? Code, taxes, whatever, go to the magistrate, cite them, all right? Have them come forward to pay what they owe. That goes to Greensburg, and because, as he's explained before, the courts have mandated it, that the sheriff's department has to issue that citation, summons, whatever it might be. They're currently 8,000?
That's what the sheriff
There are
says.
8,000 people behind in serving throughout all of Westmoreland County, all right?
How many are in Monessen? That's what I mean.
I'm
I live
sure-
in Monessen.
I'm sure
I pay
there's
my
hundreds.
Westmoreland taxes.
I'm sure
but
there's
I live here and I pay my
hundreds.
taxes here.
Again, I'm sure there's hundreds, but if the court system deems and says, this is how we're doing it, you and I and everybody in Monessen can scream to your heart's content, the courts are gonna overrule everybody. That's what why they've deemed to do that, I don't know. I know the mayor has sent a letter with the surrounding municipalities and cities, mayors, and stating that this doesn't work. We need to change this because it's hurting us extremely. The other thing is, and we both know, and for as long as you've been coming here, as long as I've been either on council or I've been sitting out there through 2 or 3 administrations, the people that don't pay their taxes, that don't pay their garbage, are the same people. And you can't get blood out of a stone, because some of them don't even live in this town. Now, if you have a magic pill that we can do something, by all means, please tell us. But trust me, when I look at the budget, and I put a budget together with council, and I have this much money to spend from hard-paying taxpayers like yourself, okay? If everybody else paid, we'd probably be close to $750,000 to $1 million for everything. The city probably wouldn't be hurting, but I'll bet if you go to any other city, you have the same. And our tax rate here is a 97,
But to me,
96%. It's high. It's one of the highest in Westmoreland County of people that pay their taxes. So it's the other things that are killing us. And it's been beat by me, by you, by everybody else that has said it. There's no magic pill.
well, look, I said it before, I'll say it again, okay? And it makes me no different who listens to it. At the end of the day, you, people that pay their taxes every year, every quarter, every month, we don't get talked about. People that come up with no tax basis, they come into our city and they basically running our town.
Who are
I
you
don't
talking
get it.
about?
I just don't get it.
Who?
You know,
Give me
I
an
think-
example.
I really do believe that the tax basis, there should be a meeting to people that pay taxes, see what they want to do, not the people that come into our town to get property for nothing and pay no taxes. Because I see it right now, in the last couple of years, that every business that come into Monessen has no tax base. Zero tax.
I'm not sure I understand this, because first off, I know if
Valley
nobody,
Independent, do they pay taxes?
Absolutely.
No, I'm talking about the old Valley Independent, which now belongs to a church. Do they pay taxes?
they abandoned that piece of property years ago. That property belonged to Guy Simpson. It did not belong to
Do
the
they
Valley
pay
Independent.
taxes?
He has not paid the taxes.
Do they pay taxes?
The building that was demolished,
No, I'm talking about
On 16.
the old Valley Independent where the big newspaper is.
Well, that was sold.
that was sold.
See,
It was
it's a
sold.
church now, right?
No, it
It was the old building, it was sold, they sold it to the other individual, and that individual chooses, for whatever reason, hasn't paid his taxes. Now, in lieu of, I believe.
Wait. Maybe we're talking about the place on Eastgate. Is that the one you're talking about? Okay, that building was sold to a nonprofit. City had nothing in that.
How about the old police department in Monessen, the old city building?
That was also sold to a
So,
nonprofit.
you know,
But those are,
bases,
that property had
Our
nothing to do with the
city
city.
people come in here, no taxes. And people that've been here paying taxes for the last 60 or 100 years, it's okay. We gotta take it. Now, I'm tired of taking it.
Well,
You know what I mean? So I think instead of having a meeting for the people that pay no damn taxes, he's having a meeting for the city of Monessen people that pay taxes every damn year.
And I think we're talking to those people right now.
Council meetings are for.
That's what,
Pardon?
That's why we have city council meetings, for people who pay our taxes to show up and speak. That's why we have city council meetings. That gives you the right to go up there and spout on for 13 minutes. You're supposed to pay your taxes. You don't get some kind of special reward for paying your taxes. That's what you're supposed
So
to
do you get it?
And this meeting
Listen,
here,
since you
Pino,
keeping
this meeting here,
the
Pino,
clock on
is
me,
for all the
since you keeping the
taxpayers.
clock on me,
13
I'm gonna
minutes
turn it
of
on
blathering on and on,
you. Are you
the
saying that
same
people that
thing,
pay
same
no
thing.
taxes,
You
we're
are
gonna
nothing
give
but
them
hot air.
more credit? Is that what you're
Hot
saying?
air.
But
People that
Pino,
pay no taxes, it's
Pino.
okay? Is that what you're
Like
saying?
Rhonda Holmes. Remember when Rhonda Holmes came into town?
okay, come on, let's get control of this for a second.
For 10
No.
years. And you know what happened on the 11th year? They left town without paying us anything. Now you go back and you look at your history, Pino, because you're spouting off about stuff that you don't know what you're talking about.
I think you're full
Okay,
of baloney.
let's slow down just a
In my
little bit.
opinion, and you think you know what you're talking about.
Hold on. Come on.
I don't take no crap. I don't take no crap from you or anybody else. I'm telling you. But
That's the
don't
one thing
tell
I did
me
not
that
wanna
you know
do.
everything that is going on because you're full of BS.
Okay, let's slow down.
That's all I can tell you. You could go there and wave whatever you want to say that's happening, and you know so much.
I do.
At the end of the
I read
day,
that, you read
hey,
Come on,
you come
let-
over
let-
to speak here. You're allowed to speak now. I'm asking a question.
Pino, Chris, let's stop for just a second. Okay, you made a point. Is there any other points you'd like to make?
No,
Please,
I like to see actually a meeting that is advertised for the people that pay taxes.
That is what a
They
city
can come.
council
Now, if
is.
they don't come, that's their business. Okay? But I know today's meeting in my book was supposed to be tomorrow. Am I correct?
No, it's always been since first of the year has been advertised as today.
But I mean, it was on a regular, on a yearly basis. It was like for the 22nd.
No, it was advertised as the
It would've fallen
21st.
on Thanksgiving, and we moved it to the 21st
In January.
in January.
See, the paper that I got says the 22nd.
Yeah.
You know, because I got a phone call. So I thought there was a meeting tomorrow night. That's
And,
Yeah.
tonight.
and Pino, I'll leave you with one other thing. You make mention about the taxpayers get a shaft, and in some cases, we all do. I'm not saying you do, John does, Mayor, we all do. We all pay our taxes, okay? But, you know, there's other good things that people can really take notice in Monessen for, that says that hopefully we're running and doing things that the people, the taxpayers, believe in and are letting us try to do things. And that, what that is, and I've sat up here. I've sat at the other place for 4 years. I've had my fill of bull, accusations, everything in the world, and you know what I'm talking about. But when we campaigned, and I'm talking Ron and I, and we went door to door, and you know this, because you were with us sometimes driving around, okay? One of the biggest thing, the taxpayer, the people in this town, who are also voters, was we want the nonsense to stop. We don't want to be the headline in the Mon Valley Independent every frickin' day that says this is going on, look at this, they're fighting here, they're not. Now, you can hear chirps. You can hear just the birds chirping because we don't make the paper anymore. Someone else has already done it, unfortunately. God love them, hope they get out of it. The other municipalities, we've eliminated that. That's what one of the things we try to do for what you get as a taxpayer. The fluff, the bullshit, and all the other stuff is gone, and hopefully we're gonna keep it gone. That's the respect I know I have, and I know all of us have to the city and the taxpayers to say, look, that's the only way we can think of right now to say thank you. And I hope that's enough.
Oh, I agree with that, okay? I just don't need to be BS from anyone. I didn't
Well,
think you-
remember-
No, let me finish. That includes any of yous, because I wanted a change, and we got a change. But I don't need nobody that tells me that I got the floor for 13 minutes and he sets his ass right there. Because that's a bunch of BS. He has the right to come here and say it. You have the right to come here.
Just remember.
You have the right to come here, say something. But that's all you do is chirp behind the scene. It doesn't count, Daddy.
But we have
Okay.
to have,
Hey, okay.
It counts whenever you put your foot right here and say it.
we have to have respect though.
Yes.
And Lois has been one of the biggest people that I've known her through all the years in council, in a couple of years. And before that, when she got appointed, that's what she's all about. That's what she brought to this council 6 years ago. And quite frankly, I never want to see it leave, besides her. But I never want to see it
I've
leave.
always told, and she knows how I feel about her. She
And you know
knows.
what, Pino, I understand
Okay?
what you're saying.
But I'm not a yes person like you.
Okay. Well,
Everybody's
thank you.
entitled.
I'm not.
Thank you.
I stand my ground, dude.
Okay, let's get back to business.
Please.
First of all, Mark resigned today, right? That leaves.
No, he
Retired.
retired.
Okay.
Retired.
Big difference.
All right, what I'm trying to say is you got 4 employees now that you're lacking. What happened to, since March? We were looking for somebody to replace Debbie. She's not there. And then you had that other lady that left.
Your
Not
turn.
blaming her. I forgot her name. Tamika, yeah.
We're working hard to fill all these positions.
I'm just saying, there's a big vacancy here. And then
Yes.
there's another person and Mark. So there's 4 people that you guys are trying to run a game plan. That's like having a team and you got 4 members out of 11 in the football squad, not to be up front to do the ball game. So what are you gonna do to address that? You keep saying union, but I've been hearing that now since March.
There are openings. Anybody wants to apply for an opening, fill out an application and come join the team.
Did you advertise again for these openings?
It's been advertised, yes.
When was the last time it was in the paper? I haven't seen it for a while.
Well, it's probably been a while. We've got some applicants right now.
okay.
But we've got some applicants right now.
Well, when we're gonna fill these positions?
As soon as we can pay them what the applicants require.
Then we got the other issue. For 3 months, you kept saying about Cipher, and Cipher is gonna step up and tell us where we're at with having this money that's due back to the general fund.
Yes.
So where are we with that? When are they gonna show up?
I called them again today. I was gone for a week.
You
And
said
while
that last time.
right, I was gone for a week, and while I was gone, they said set up a date. I emailed them and I've called them. I've not gotten a response back, so
I just wanna know,
canceled.
did you pay them already?
No,
Okay, I wouldn't pay them anything until they produce something.
that's kind of the way it works.
And then, I thought we were gonna have some input into the budget today. That's what you said up in the front of this meeting, that you were going to.
The budget will be out tomorrow. You'll be able to review it and make any suggestions or
Okay,
comments
so-
you'd like.
So all we do is be passive spectators. We can't have an input in it?
The
Because I asked that in the beginning of the meeting, and you said we're gonna get into it tonight.
well, the
And all you
budget
did was pass
the budget
resolution.
was developed by our CFO. That is his job, is to develop a budget. He knows all the income that comes in and all the expenses that go out, and he establishes the budget that we work by.
Okay, then answer me this. You're putting the cart in front of the horses. You're saying that taxes aren't gonna increase next year.
Right.
How could you say that if we don't know what the budget is? So-
Well, we do know what the budget
okay,
is.
Is the budget more than last year?
No, the budget is very similar to last year.
How did it stay the same when everybody's paying more?
No, they're paying the
with
same tax they
inflation?
paid last time.
No, I'm talking about the expenses in your budget.
Because I held the line on expenses earlier.
Yeah, I think that Tony did an outstanding job this year, by the way.
I held the expenses, next year's budget is going to hold departments' feet to their fire. If they have this much to spend, they have this much to spend. It needs to get allocated over a year, over the course of the year. If your budget has just rudimentary numbers, 100,000, 70,000, okay. I'm gonna be honest with you. Don't come to me in June and say, I spent my 60 grand, I still need another 60 or 70. It ain't happening. This city has
I'm
to
glad to
learn.
hear that. I'm
The
glad to
city
hear that.
has to learn to live within its means. And that doesn't mean the people that work in the city do anything that has nothing to do with it. This has been an accumulation over years, if not decades, okay, with debt, doing things.
I got one last thing. For 12 years, I've been talking to 3 different administrations here. And I just want to piggyback on what I think Pino was trying to say. We got 8 major corporations on the riverbank. Every one of them had their taxes reduced, school tax and property tax, including the Indian fellow that bought the old city hall down there on Eastgate. The Coke plant used to pay, if you went back 30 years, they used to pay property school tax around $184,000. They're paying less than $10,400. And I'm not picking on the Indian guy, but when he took over, he reduced his property tax and school tax from $172,000 down to $10,000. And how did they do this?
So Ernie, question.
The city solicitor, the school solicitor, and the county solicitor all work together to bring these people down. Well, how else could they have gotten the property down? You can't do it without cooperation.
It is actually controlled by the county tax assessor.
Then why did our lawyers get involved? The school lawyer and our city council lawyer.
Ernie, there was an evidentiary hearing that the school district got their own appraisal. The value was set based on the school district appraisal.
Just on the school district appraisal. How about the city council appraisal? They had one too.
Yeah, it was.
What happened to that?
It was about 4 years too old to use in court
Why wasn't it refreshed?
because the school district paid $5,000 to get their own appraisal.
So whoever pays is
They
going to be
have
the piper, right? We're going to listen to the piper, whoever pays.
they have the largest tax burden.
All I know is that you got at least 8 or 9 entities here that are making millions of dollars a year, and they're paying. In fact, I got a neighbor who's up the street. He's paying $7,200 for half an acre, and then we got these corporations that are paying $10,000 plus. I don't understand that. And I've been talking about this for 3 or 4 administrations. I'm not but nobody's doing nothing to see if we can get that out.
So do you advocate that we reassess all of Monessen?
No, just the corporate.
I don't even know you can do that.
Well, why would you look into it? And if that doesn't work, then add an extra tax on the corporation.
Well, you can't do that
We
either.
got to do something because what we're doing is, like he says, we're penalizing people that are paying, and they're residentials. So that's something for you guys to think about.
I've sat on their side. I understand exactly what he's saying.
Okay, thank you.
I have one thing that I'd like to say before, because I forgot. Alfonso, it's directed to you. You called me on Tuesday, I think,
You called me.
and we talked.
You called me.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you something, I give him a plus for doing that. Because he made some stuff clear to me from where he was coming. And I didn't wanna do it without saying it. You know, I thank you.
Okay,
Pleasure.
thank you. Anybody else have anything they'd like to talk about?
Yeah, Mayor.
Come on up.
I just personally would like to thank Mark Kravitz for all his years of service, 41 years. Ernie, thanks for acknowledging that we're undermanned and the clerical, they're short with the ladies. And keep it in mind that in the winters, we're gonna do the mains and the hills first. Everything in the alleys are last. Everything else is secondary. And please keep it in mind, when you talked about the rec board and Civic Center, to remember that we are shorthanded. So hopefully, whatever plans they have the volunteers to cover it. We're always willing to help, but we're very undermanned right now. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, sorry, I had a question. By any chance, have we heard anything from across the river on what will be going on with the water authority?
To some degree, I've been contacted by both the water authority and some of the city council people. The bottom line is, the authority is an authority. The Charleroi is the one that formed the authority. They're the ones that can pay off the authority and dissolve the authority if they wanted to. As far as what they're trying to accomplish right now, it's very unclear to me. You talk to the water authority, they're afraid that the water authority is going to be sold. The city, on the other hand, says they're not trying to sell it, but rather to get an appraisal of what the authority is worth in order to use that to leverage themselves for RCAPs to do projects within the city. How an appraisal gets you RCAPs, I don't understand, but that's what they were trying to do. The bottom line, though, is that the city of Monessen has very little say-so in what happens. They may, in fact, sell the water authority. They may not. I really don't know. The numbers I saw said that if they sold it, our water rates would go up about 10%. Yeah. What that means, I really don't know. But I don't think that Monessen has any say-so in how that transpires. I don't think that their city council is impervious or unsensitive to Monessen, but by the same token, it's their decision, not our decision.
And is there meeting tomorrow, their council meeting?
There is an executive session tomorrow.
Okay.
I do not know of a council meeting, but they told me that there is an executive session tomorrow.
Okay.
It's not open to the public.
No,
Thank you, Mayor.
thank you. Any other questions or comments?
I have a comment.
Okay.
My name's Ed Lefevre. I live on Keystone Drive. I read the article in the Valley paper of November 12th. Long article. And there's two subjects that bother me in that article. I've been curious for quite some time, and it was brought up in the article, but was never answered. What is the law firm's retainer fee for the city as compared to the last administration's law firm? What actually is, I never read it anywhere, what is the yearly retainer fee being paid by the city?
I'll be glad to explain. The retainer is $800 a month, and I'll explain what that encompasses for the city. That's for my attendance at both of their monthly meetings and as many as phone calls as
Unlimited.
these guys care to make on a day or a month. I don't bill for phone calls. They tell me to go do some legal research, prepare an ordinance. I believe it's $100 an hour for the work thereafter.
But I guess I phrased the question wrong. What does the law firm, when you hire a law firm for the city, what are they paid?
I think I just explained it to you.
$800 a month retainer, plus $100 for anything above and beyond.
Okay, that's what I was asked. That's what I was curious about. And Mr. Delfonso, I guess you answered this. Your average fee when you bill the city for services rendered are what again? Your average fee?
Between $2,500 and $4,000 a month.
And where did the 800 come in again?
That's for my attendance at these two meetings and phone calls from council, administrative staff.
And the work that you do, what
With
amount?
development of the ordinance is this example that we did today.
Okay. You mentioned something in that article.
I didn't mention really anything in that article. I wasn't
No,
called for an interview
No,
or.
let me rephrase that. What was mentioned in that article was, you said, or it was brought out, some of your work can't be discussed publicly. What does
Correct.
that mean?
It means that I give legal advice to the city of Monessen and everybody sitting up here. That's protected by the attorney-client privilege. There's
Well,
personnel matters that are discussed.
I can see a law between a private citizen.
It's the
And-
same.
and-
It's the same. It's the same exact analysis.
Well, then let me ask you, where does the Freedom of Information Act come in then? When you mention there's work
That would be
for the city that you can't discuss publicly.
that would be the Pennsylvania Right to Know law, which there are protections for privileged information. Meaning the city does not. Meaning it's not even a public record for in some
But it
instances.
affects the city.
But it's protected by law.
Hmm.
Mr. Lefebvre, can I say something?
Sure.
I hope he's explained to you what it is. And what I think is, I'm just gonna say this personally, as a taxpayer, I think you're asking the wrong questions.
No, I asked.
No, I think you're asking the wrong questions. And here's why I think you're asking the wrong questions. This has been brought up, and it rightfully should be brought up when Mr. Delfonso's, what is this retainer? And trust me, I probably talk to Joey more than I talk to my wife every day, and he doesn't charge us. But every municipality, every government, everything has legal advice on council for questions that we don't stick our foot in our mouth and say the wrong thing. But what really irks me, and I'm not talking to you as a councilman, I'm talking to you as a taxpayer, because I'm going to guess and assume for a second that you're saying, look, well, what are your costs? Okay, this is what's costing me. I want to know. Okay, I didn't hear a damn person ever bitch or complain about external counsel that had to get hired by previous councils that cost you and the taxpayers over $100,000. I don't hear anybody bitching about that. It's like twerps out here. I don't see nothing. Everybody wants to complain this guy and say, look, what is your, well, you asked what his retainer was.
I wasn't complaining. I was asking a question I
Good
did
point.
not understand, and I wanted to know, as a taxpayer, what the solicitor was actually being paid.
Okay, so where was also the questions people should also still be asking, and where I lost $100,000 out of my budget this year for legal costs that had nothing to do with him or even Mr. Witt, who was our previous counsel.
You're expanding what I said.
I'm expanding on it because I think it's
No,
important.
No, I had a specific question, and the specific question was about financial items.
And I hope he
Yeah,
answered it to
and-
your.
And what you're saying has nothing to do with what I asked Mr. Delfonso. All I asked him, which I had never known, I wanted to know what the solicitor is being paid. And I wanted to know what the retainer was. That was my question. And as a citizen here of Monessen,
Okay.
what you're saying has nothing to do with what I asked.
So that's my question to you as a taxpayer. I have a question. My question to you as a taxpayer is, why weren't you standing up here pounding and saying, why are we paying all this money for legal fees outside of our legal counsel that's costing us my tax money to go right down the drain? So I'm asking you a question as a taxpayer.
That is what I'm not aware of. So what you need to do is educate me.
No, you've been educated many times before, because I know you've asked me this question way back in January and February. So again, I throw out the question now to all of you. So what about all that expenditures? And it's not just last council,
Well,
it's before that too.
Give me the situations and give me the amounts and I'll think about it.
I just did. I told you over $100,000 from external counsel last year that I lost out of the budget this year, that we paid for this year. Matter of fact, I think it was in February or March, I paid it over a couple months because I couldn't afford it, so I had to make payroll. That's what burns my butt, is when people don't look at the other things that you gotta jump around and do
Well,
that we don't have
why didn't
control
our-
over.
Why didn't our solicitor handle that?
What was he the hand, because, oh, I'm sorry. For one thing, Mr. Delfonso wasn't our solicitor at the time it happened. The second thing, and I won't say anything for Mr. Witt that he's not here because he's a fine gentleman and a great attorney and he was a great counsel for us. He didn't even know about it. They didn't like his answer, and it's been reported in the paper. If you go back a year or 2 years, it was reported that counsel at that time still chose to go around the solicitor's recommendation and still went outside it and did it.
Did you make this publicly known?
This has been in the paper forever. If I remember correctly, in January, we stopped the one lawsuit from continuing on because it was so stupid and frivolous. It was still costing us $25,000 a month.
Who stopped it?
Council, this council did. It was the lawsuit about about the past mayor suing the redevelopment authority to take 2 members off because he had a personal grudge for whatever reason. It was reported in the paper numerous times. It made headlines. It was the buzz of the town, unfortunately. We could do better with buzzes than that. But again, this council stopped that litigation. Counselor, am I right?
That's correct.
We stopped that litigation. So yes, those are the things that I think people should be looking at what we learned in the past to make sure we don't do those stupid mistakes in the future. Because that way we're protecting each one of you as a taxpayer, promising and making sure that every frickin' penny that I get, I'm spending the right way it should be. And anyone will prove it. That's my responsibility to all of you. And I take that responsibility very, very, very seriously.
Why are you so angry?
Because it pisses me off. Well,
Thank
I
you.
asked the question too, but thank you for your time.
I get an oration.
Well, something
Thank
to
you.
think about.
Well, bring it up. This thing happens repeatedly. Bring it up so I can.
Oh, I'm not gonna let it happen repeatedly, I promise you.
I'll mark that down.
Any other public comments?
Mayor, motion to adjourn tonight's meeting at 7:47, November 21st, 2022.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Happy Thanksgiving,
Yes,
everyone.
happy
Be blessed.
Thanksgiving.
Enjoy.
I'm gonna make a sound for I work for food.
How come it's the difficult part? Not communicate, no. My wife, it's Thanksgiving. No.